Sneaking over
I'd like to
here.
welcome each and every one of you to this evening's 10th meeting of the Board of Directors of the City of Hot Springs. And we have a very modest agenda today, so we should be out relatively soon. If you blink, you might miss it. But we'll begin, as always, with invocation, and it'll be led by City Director, District 6, Steve Trusty, and I'll lead the pledge. All rise.
Father, we're thankful that we can gather tonight in this beautiful city that you've blessed us all to live in, to work in, to play in, to raise our families in. We thank you for the opportunity that we have. We thank you for this board. We ask for your guidance and direction this evening. Even though it's a light agenda, as the mayor has said, we just ask for your wisdom, guidance, and direction in all that we say and do tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to be of service to our citizens, and we just ask that you continue to watch over and keep each one of us, each of our citizens, Lord, our first responders, and those who make this place, make this city a safe place to live for all of us. And just be with us this evening. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Director Aaron Holliday. Here. Director Phyllis Beard.
Present.
Director Marcia Dobbs-Smith.
Here.
Director Dudley Webb.
Here.
Director Karen Garcia.
Here.
Director Steve Trusty.
Here.
Mayor Pat McCabe.
Here. This time we'll consider the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions to the agenda, or items to be moved from the consent agenda to new business? Yes?
Mayor, I motion to move R-23-121 to new business.
Okay, we have a second individual that would want to do that. We'll go ahead and do it. We have a light agenda. So we'll go ahead. That'll be the first item under new business, which is item 4 will be the first item on the new business. We approve the agenda as amended.
I move to do so.
Director Garcia, seconded by Director Webb. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Now we'll consider approval of the minutes of the regularly held meeting of June 6, 2023. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes as presented? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Director Trusty, seconded by Director Garcia. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Recognition of guests. Do we have any guests? You're all our guests, as always. City Manager's report, Mr. Bill Burrow.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Don't have a big report today, but I do want to call your attention to a couple of things. One is at our Hot Springs Memorial Airport, the terminal received a new coat of paint to enhance the first impression of passengers and airport patrons. Local airports are often viewed as the gateway of the community, and Hot Springs Memorial Field is no exception. Through the volunteer efforts of local Arvest Bank area branch managers, the interior of the terminal has now been refreshed with new paint, and the appearance is great. They've done a great job. Airport Director Don Rollett stated he'd like to express his wholehearted thanks to Candace Keys, Heather Elliott, Roy Elliott, Amanda Evans, and Terry Oliveira. They've spent approximately 8 hours of volunteer services over 2 sessions to complete that terminal transformation, and we really appreciate the outstanding job that they did and the help that they did volunteering out at our airport. We will accept volunteers for projects such as that, so if you're interested, you can contact my office and we'll get you connected to one of those departments. But that was just really something that was unexpected, and really appreciate the efforts of those individuals. A little bit on the water supply. I want to talk about the boring machine as we move through the mountain, and the Miscellane past the 2,360 marker of the 2,517 feet we need to go. Michael's is scheduled to break through into the lake sometime in July. And to be honest, we've actually had to pull that back a little bit. It's starting to move a lot slower on purpose. It has a certain amount of grout that it takes to seal as it goes through. We've got till after July before we can get back into the lake to retrieve the machine. So all of that's coordinated with the Corps of Engineers, and when we can get barges and cranes out to be able to retrieve the boring machine once it comes through. So I'm excited to say that the hard rock is over. We're right at the end of the project as far as the intake being through the mountains. So that was great news. Heard some of it about a week ago, and just was ecstatic to hear the progress they were making after such a long period we had when we hit that granite. Keith Jones, our resident advisor at Intercity Transit, he has been selected for a position on the Arkansas Transit Association's Board of Directors. He'll fill a seat finishing off the 2022-2024 term of a recent ATA board resignation as the Urban Transit System representative. Keith does a great job. He's very knowledgeable, so I can see why they wanted to appoint him to such a committee, and want to congratulate him. The Hot Springs Police Department took part in celebrating Juneteenth on Saturday with Garland County, NAACP, Difference Makers of Hot Springs, Community Services. I believe the Diamonds in the Rough were there as well, and several other organizations that I don't have here. But it was a great event. I saw County Judge Daryl Mahoney there. The mayor was there. I was there for a while. Our police department. I don't know how many hot dogs they cooked, but they were there for quite some time, just loading the grill as fast as they could. We also had another group there that was cooking hamburgers, so it was just a great event. A lot of fun was held by a lot of people. I was able to give a report on that to Elaine Jones yesterday. So I had the fortune of being able to spend a couple hours with Director Jones, and told him when we were there Saturday that I was going to give a report on how well they did, and she was happy to hear that. But I just want to let the board know that Elaine is doing very, very well. I was shocked to see the improvement that she's had in 2.5 weeks at this facility that she's at. She's in great spirits. She's going to continue her rehabilitation there, but she's doing great, and spirits were up. She sends her love to all. She got a bag of blueberries from previous director Randy Foley, and I thought she might cry when she saw those. Anytime she thinks of her boyfriend Randy, or I should say her driver. But anyway, Elaine's doing great. She sends her love, and I wanted to make sure that the board knew that. And then finally, we had a good showing at the Arkansas Municipal League Conference. Some conferences are better than others, and I thought this one was really, really good with the number of breakout sessions they had, the educational sessions that we were able to attend. We were able to capture some of our continuing education that benefits us all. So appreciate the board members that were able to attend that, and I think everybody was there. So just appreciate that and appreciate the league. I thought it was one of the better conferences we've had in a long time. So, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll hear from individual directors on announcements regarding upcoming events. Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. I have some upcoming events to announce, beginning with the Bridge Street Live continues this coming Thursday, June 22nd, at the Entertainment District there at Bridge Street with live entertainment. It begins at 5 p.m. and this week it's Brian Martin's Mess. And the feedback has been very positive for the attendees there. So remember that, Thursday at 5 p.m. in the Entertainment District there. Also, this Saturday, the Giving Team is back with their fourth Saturday event at the parking lot across from the former Habitat Humanity Restore, between there and the food truck court there on the corner of Church Street and Malvern Avenue. And if you work with any nonprofits or in anything trying to help people, they have a number of great resources. They're available in helping to provide needs for many people, including some family food bags that you can take home. Hot lunch and care packages will be available there. The workforce development will be there, as well as many other agencies and resources to provide free resources. And the agency there this month, a special emphasis on Alzheimer awareness and sickle cell awareness. So please contact Janice Davis, 501-385-2813 if you have any questions. But particularly anyone working with nonprofits, please be aware of this event Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also, next Tuesday, our own police department will have their second Narcan training at 6 p.m. at the police department upstairs area. That's June 28th at 6 p.m. They do have limited seating, so please make a reservation if you would like to attend that. And lastly, regarding Independence Day fireworks display down in my district at 7 South, if you want to, on July 2nd, as it gets dark, the fireworks display will begin there at the Lake Hamilton Bridge and 7 South area. So we've got a lot of upcoming events, and there's a lot of other things in Hot Springs to please enjoy, and we can vacation in our own hometown. Thank you.
Very good. Other directors have an upcoming event announcement. Director Holliday.
Thank you. And I think the city manager may have more to add on this than I will, but this Friday is the dedication of the baby box at the fire department. And so we talked a little bit about that agreement that we had in the donation for a safe baby box for anyone who is unable to care for a new baby. There's a safe place for them to put them, no questions asked. The box will be at our fire department here on Broadway downtown. And so the dedication for that will be 1 o'clock this Friday. And it's a pretty exciting thing for us to have. So there's an option for new moms in crisis to make sure that their babies will be taken care of by first responders.
Very good. Just a little add-on to that. The Arkansas Safe Haven Law allows a mother to anonymously surrender their baby 30 days of age or younger at any manned fire station. And, you know, during the time I'm going to work, every once in a while I hear a news report. I think Benton has a baby box, and they've had a baby, maybe 1 or 2 delivered in the last 3. Wow, in a short order. And so that's a, as Director Holliday indicated, for those who feel there's no, they don't have the support or the ability, they can still preserve that life and surrender the baby to the fire department with a baby box. So very, very nice concept. Another director, any other directors with an upcoming event? So we have the 4th of July coming up, I guess 2 weeks from today. And so last meeting we indicated that we approved our meeting schedule, and the meeting schedule as published have us meeting on July 5th, so Wednesday at 6 p.m. Of course, we'll still meet next week here at Board Chambers for the agenda meeting at 4 p.m. So we're just going to be one day back, and so you can still celebrate and have 24 hours to recover and come on in. So All right, moving right along, we'll go ahead with the consent agenda. We have, these are of a routine nature that do not merit individual discussion. We did have one pulled off for the first item under new business, but I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Director Garcia, seconded by
Second.
Director Dobbs Smith. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is approved. And now we'll move on to the item that was pulled from the consent agenda, which is Resolution R-23-121, and ask City Attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-121, a resolution approving an agreement for information systems professional services with ThinkGuard LLC for essential managed cybersecurity services. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director Trustee, seconded by Director Dobbs. And Jeff Winters, our Director of Information Technology and anything that involves a gadget.
Yes, sir. Good evening, all. The contract proposal before you here is as mentioned, basically endpoint protection like antivirus that you would have on your typical computer, and then a company to manage that. We went through an extended process using an SOQ process, and then, like I said, we've actually been looking at this since the beginning of years for months and months. Actually, started last year looking at this. And so this company that we've chosen for this to get you guys to approve is one that we've vetted and talked to. The main thing that we started with was actually the product. So Cisco is the product that we're actually going to use that they're going to manage for us. And once we chose that product, then we started looking at vendors who could provide a managed service for that product. The contract before you is basically about $60,000 a year, $30,000 in round numbers the first year, and then $60,000 thereafter. Half of that is the county pays for the half of that. So, is there any other questions? That's pretty much it. So.
Director Webb.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Winter, I think you answered a couple of at least the start off questions that I had, and I do want to thank you for coming before the board tonight to help elaborate on this resolution. But I need your help to clarify a few other points of interest on this. So the initial question that I was going to ask you is this a product / services? And if we buy the product, do the services kind of come included with the product? But I think you kind of answered that in saying that the product itself, and I did spend some time looking at what was included in our packet over the past few days. But so Cisco is the product, and then the services that are being provided are coming through from ThinkGuard.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Would there be any option to just buy the product without the services?
Sure.
Or
not from this particular company. Maybe this contract wouldn't be. I'm not sure what ThinkGuard would think about that, obviously. That hadn't been asked. But the answer to your question is certainly any of the antivirus products, again, they don't call them antivirus, they call it endpoint detection and response, XDR, EDR, but a lot of acronyms. But any of these can be bought from different vendors, and so we don't have to buy that particular product from this vendor. But it was really the product itself is not the important piece. The current product that we have, as far as we know, is great, but we don't know. It's funny, but as part of this process, we actually went to Cisco and reached out and got a 30-day free trial. And so I started out putting it on about 100 machines with our current products. We were running them simultaneously. The current product that we have is Carbon Black from VMware, and we have a managed provider for that product as well, and have for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 years now. That product, we had heard that it wasn't all that great. We put AMP on 100 machines, and sure enough, we started getting messages left and right where it was finding this and finding that on different machines around the city and the county. So we already seen through the demo process that this product does a much better job, is much more thorough at looking at the potential problems on our network. So we looked at that first, decided that, and then, like I said, chose the company to oversee it kind of secondarily.
so, and that was with Cisco,
Yes, sir.
right?
And I always kind of start with everything with the Gartner Magic Quadrant. Everybody here know what that is? So if you don't, pretty much everything, I don't know if it's just technology, but everything technology related is, so Gartner, not sure that most of y'all heard that. They're a company that just looks at evaluating different things. And so we look at that, and so I always try to pick products, they call it the upper right quadrant. But anyhow, those are the kind of the newer and greater best things. And you'll see people over years slide from there down. And so everything that we looked at was kind of up there, and Cisco was one of them that's up there consistently and been up there.
What does the cost breakdown look like between the product, which is Cisco, versus the services that are being provided by ThinkGuard?
It's pretty straightforward, and I'm going to use round numbers, but
Okay.
it's like $18,000 a year for the product, and the rest of the $42,000 is for the ThinkGuard company to oversee the product.
So out of the total, I guess it's what, 180,000 over three years, we're looking at about 60 or a little less than that.
Yes, sir.
What, 54 that is just for the product?
Yes, sir.
And then the other
42
remaining
times
funds?
3, which, yeah, 120, 126.
It's good to hear that you like this product and that it does do its job. So just for the sake of clarification, this is Cisco. Would it be fair to say that its intentions is to protect all IT or communicative type gadgets that are owned or operated or both by the city to prevent like viruses and?
That's a little overstatement.
Okay.
So let's protect all the endpoints, okay? So be clear, in the network. So you start with, you got phones, you got tablets, you got PCs, we've got servers, we've got network switches, we've got firewalls, it's all the computer that you're sitting in front of is an endpoint. And so, like I said, all this product really does is oversee the endpoint and the things that pass through that endpoint. So when you click on a web, you open an email, run a program, download a program from the web, execute that program. That's what this particular product is looking for. Now, what's interesting is ThinkGuard, as part of their service, is going to evaluate that as a platform. So they basically will look at our console that has around 700 computers in there. And of those 700 computers, most of those are endpoints, so it's end users, but about 30 or 40 of those are actual servers. So those are in our office. They're the file servers, the Spillman servers, all the different servers. So this does also run on those. But this company actually, as a value-added service, is going to help us look at all of our security posture. So our firewalls, our network switches. There's a lot more that goes into security now than just in AV, And so, like I said, it's a We have mail blockers. So every mail, when you get a mail, it's been scanned like 3 times in the city now. So we've got firewalls to scan everything that you go on to see on the web. So like I said, it's really a system, and the endpoint protection is just one of those components.
Looks like there's 12 service points that ThinkGuard would provide the city with if the resolution is passed. And I know you're probably familiar with those.
Sure.
How many of those 12 could be done by our IT department
Every
with
one
the
of them.
proper training?
Well, now, okay, so with the proper training. So the reality is we, like a lot of the other folks in the city, we have a lot of other hats to wear, right? So, we're working on, so one of the guys today, we're putting a new firewall in tomorrow. So I've got a guy who's spent basically nothing for the last month but working on putting a new firewall in. And so like I said, of the key components that we have, we got people over there that are just break fix. So every day, all day, my printer doesn't work, my software doesn't work, my whatever doesn't work. And so I don't really have any additional, even if I could get the training, I don't have the additional staff that I could give that training to do this. So if we wanted to hire and add another position, then we could either find somebody that's qualified, or we could hire somebody at a lower rate and provide the training and have them do nothing but this. But these folks are going to do nothing but all day, every day, look at our stuff. And I don't have anybody like that. So, and for $41,000 a year, I can't even, that's a $30,000 employee with benefits, right? And really it's $15,000 to the city. So you're talking $15,000 to have this and to have somebody, and it's basically a team of folks doing this for us. So it's cost-wise, there's just no way.
Director Garcia?
Thank you, Mayor. And that was one of the things I was going to emphasize, was my understanding that this is split between the city and the county. So we're initiating the contract, but we don't pay 100% of this because of the split. And it's benefiting the city and the county. And in what you told us at the agenda meeting and what's in the contract it meets the new requirements on the security incident management and the reports that'll be available for that. That's something that the cities have to, it's a legal requirement now, to be able to provide to our auditors upon their review in coming years. But this is very important to keep abreast of all cybersecurity services. And this, from what I read about this company, they focus, this is their specialty. We don't have anything like that. And last week, the city of Fayetteville was taken by ransom, but because of a breach in cybersecurity. And I believe, as a good steward as a board member for the city of Hot Springs, we need to do everything we can to protect all of the data. I mean, this is a growing problem in the country, and it's hitting various cities and businesses in Arkansas. So I applaud you for doing all of your prep work, getting the best qualified company and bringing it to us for approval. I want to have us stay on top of this, and I appreciate you doing all this research.
Yes, ma'am. It's like anything else. One of the proposals that we got in our SLQ was actually $400,000. So, I mean, you can always pay more and have a better service, right? I mean, they're going to have more people. They're going to have maybe better software. So ultimately, you know, we just got to do the best we can and try to, I tell everybody all the time, we're going to get hit. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter how much time or effort and money you spend. You know, you can't stop these people from succeeding, because the weakest link really literally is our employees behind the keyboard. And I'm sure I've talked to Keith briefly, who's the IT director of City of Fayetteville, and what he did tell me was it was some kind of fish. So that's about all that he would talk to me about now. But ultimately, that's the weakest link. And so all of these are basically just layers trying to, you know, avoid the inevitable, but it is inevitable. And so the other thing that we're trying to do is limit our exposure. So we work every day, all day, to try to segment our stuff and put it in containers so that basically when we do get owned, it's basically going to hopefully minimize the impact. So.
Yeah. Any other questions of directors? Director Webb?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you too breaking down the cost difference, you know, what it is at city rate versus how much the county pays to. I'm just bringing you these questions.
Sure.
Just because I'm not that huge of a supporter of consulting services, you know, unless it's a need that's otherwise unattainable with present resources. And any opportunity that we have to provide training for our current staff to provide that same service, I want us to look at those training options for our staff in that service area before we just jump to consulting. This benefits our employees, I think, and in some cases relinquishes the need to consult as much, and it keeps, you know, those taxpayer dollars going towards our employees here within the city of Hot Springs. And more training equals better skilled employers, equals additional pay opportunities. I think in this case there may be some slight exception, but that was kind of the reason for me.
I 1,000% agree with you. And actually, the last 2 employees I've lost to Walmart. So we've taken kids straight out of high school both times. I hired an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old, and we've trained them. And so I'm a firm believer in training from within and trying to promote from within. And if I could do that in this case, I absolutely would. As a matter of fact, so this is my 32nd year, and I think we only have, this may be about the only outside contract that I've ever had. And I've had this will be, like I said, this is actually an extension of a service that we already did have with another company called Critical Start. But it's so important. Again, what I'll tell you is I don't know what I don't know, and so I can train and I can learn, but these people, that's all they do. You know what I'm saying? And so this is a career ender for people like me. I mean, so this is really what you worry about, and it keeps me up at night. So this is, like I said, I absolutely don't think we could do it ourselves, but otherwise every other thing I can do, I do.
Director Garcia?
Having worked with a Fortune 100 company that had deep pockets, this is what you want. You want specialized people taking care of your cybersecurity. And I think it's the right way to go, and I call the question.
Well, do we have anybody sign up to speak on this?
No, sir.
No. There, any discussion amongst directors beyond what we've had? Please call the roll.
Director Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. Our final action item of this evening is to consider ordinance O-23-14, and I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So moved.
Director
Second.
Trustee, seconded by Director Garcia. All in favor of the motion to suspend the rules to read by title only, signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance O-23-14, an ordinance amending Hot Springs Code Section 2-8-33 by repealing ordinance number 4020 as amended, pertaining to the Arts Advisory Committee and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Who made the initial? Director Holliday?
She did.
Did you make the motion?
I think we tied.
Well, Director Trustee came in a distant second.
Again.
This is her bailiwick. Let her have it.
So we're going to have back to Ms. Harmony Morrissey, our city clerk, will provide the staff report. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The Board of Directors created the Arts Advisory Committee in 1998 with 2-year terms that expired October 1st of each year. It assigned the following duties to the committee. First, to review and recommend placement of permanent art at publicly owned facilities in the city. Second, to assist the organization and promotion of temporary art exhibits at publicly owned facilities. And third, to assist in securing of private grant funding and art donations for permanent art displays at public buildings in the city. Hot Springs Code 2830 sets forth the general policies and procedures under which all other city advisory committees function, except the Arts Advisory Committee. This includes 4-year terms and offices that are divided into the majority and minority divisions, with the minority division expiring May 1st of the year 2027 and then every 4 years after, and the majority expiring May 1st of 2025 and every 4 years thereafter. So the proposed ordinance before you tonight simply adjusts the terms and expiration dates of the Arts Advisory Committee so that they align with all the other advisory committees in the city. It does not alter the duties or responsibilities of the committees at all. So to implement this change, it was discussed last time that committee members currently serving on the Arts Advisory Committee would continue to serve through May 1st of 2024. So during the spring selection of advisory committee and commission candidates, the Board of Directors will make appointments to all 7 positions on the Arts Advisory Committee. This would be a whole new committee or reappointments. Then at the first meeting of the committee, lots would be drawn to determine the expiration dates of the majority and minority terms. So from that point on, Arts Advisory Committee would then be filled on the same schedule as all other city advisory committees. Happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Any questions of Ms. Morrissey? Anybody sign up to speak?
No, sir.
Do we have a member of the Arts Advisory Committee here?
We actually don't.
Oh, I thought Mr. Doug was there. All right. Any discussion amongst directors? Director Trustee.
Just a question. Everyone's going to serve through May 21 or May 1 of 24. And then those first terms, wouldn't they expire May of 26 if they're for 2 years?
Well, if they're going to align with Code Section 2830, those set forth the actual years.
So
and
the others all
the
are these
years
dates?
would actually be 25 and 27. So those first few people, when they draw lots, would be serving a shorter term.
So it'll just be a 1 year and a 3 year term?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
and then after that, it would align with the others being every 4 years.
Very good. Thank you.
City Manager Burrow, do you have a comment?
Yes, Mayor. You know, this is one of the committees, though, that I do think we need to evaluate as we move forward towards the end of the year. When I look at what this committee was charged with back in, what year was that?
98.
98. They don't do any of these things. And so we need to recommit to what we want this particular committee to be or to do. I think it's important for them and us, as well as Anthony Whittington, who's our liaison currently with this committee. We have things now we didn't have then, like the Hot Springs Cultural Arts Alliance. Some of these things overlap. When we look at the convention center and the artworks that's there, I don't think our committee, our Arts Advisory Committee is truly involved in that any longer, as well as, you know, the art that we have in most of our city buildings. I don't want to take away from the work they're doing, because they do good work, but it's kind of moved into more of the items and statues that we have on the Greenway and the trails and some of those. And even with that, it's starting to get a little, I don't want to say cluttered, but busy. And our newest portion of the Greenway is going to be one of the nicest areas that you're going to walk through, and that's probably one that we're going to try to keep more serene. But anyway, I just want to make the board aware that the things that we have currently in the ordinance for the Arts Advisory Committee to perform aren't really things that are happening now. I don't know when the last time we had a temporary art exhibit was. I don't recall any private grant funding of any kind. I know that you know, we started funding that as the city with about $25,000 a year in the budget to be able to purchase some of the things that we have out there on the Greenway. So I don't want to upset anybody that's serving on this committee, but it's one that I think we need to evaluate, because we have so many other committees that we could use people serving on. And if this is one that's not really serving the intended purpose anymore, just something we probably need to think about between now and the end of the year, and maybe talk about it as we work through one of our retreats. I know Director Holliday and I have had some discussions, and I appreciate her insight in looking at that. But you know, why it's on the agenda, just something I want to bring to the board's attention that we probably need to evaluate a little bit further before we get to the end of the year. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions on this subject? Comments? Discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. That concludes the action items for this evening. Now we're under Board of Directors items for discussion. Any directors have an item for discussion? No? Then Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to share with the board and with the residents here of Hot Springs, this past week, this past Thursday, we had a great turnout for District 4 Town Hall, and I want to publicly thank Oaklawn United Methodist Church for being the host, and also thank all of the residents and guest speakers for being in attendance. Also, huge thanks to Chief Harvington and Assistant Chief Roach for providing District 4 crime rate data, which were analyzed at the town hall meeting. Moving forward, District 4 will be welcoming additional neighborhood watch programs very soon, as well as several new points of contact throughout the district. I'm very proud of my district for moving in the right direction to help keep our families safe and protect our property too. Thank you.
Very good. Any final comments of directors? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to
I
adjourn.
move that we adjourn.
Director Garcia, seconded by,
I'm coming in second tonight, so that's fine, I'll do that.
If it's the only way out.
we want to go, we got to take it. So we'll recognize the second by Director District 6, Steve Trusty. All in favor to adjourn signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. And you got most. This
not
is the
used to-
second longest day of the year, right? Or tied for second? Tomorrow's the longest day. So you got all this sunshine.